Welcome to the channel, everybody. OG here, and we are going to go into our pro attacking UFL tutorial. Now, we've already done our defensive tutorial, our build-up, which is passing and dribbling tutorial, and now we have our attacking goal scoring tutorial. And when you put the three tutorials together from the defensive phase, the build-up phase, and the attacking phase, you have a complete guide on what to do to become a top-ranked premier level player, which is as high as you can go in the UFL. So let's get into the video. So out of the three phases of the game, we started with defense, worked our way into the build-up, which is passing and dribbling, and now we are into the attack, which is the period at the end of the sentence, the end of the passing and dribbling, where we ultimately score goals or attempt to score goals. Now, the name of the game is to score as many of the chances you create as possible. That is how you win the most games, clearly. But sometimes that can be easier said than done, as players tend to blow a lot of chances, especially if they don't have their attacking principles down. So what exactly are the attacking principles in UFL? Number one is make sure you're getting to the goal as efficiently as possible, meaning you have to have that killer instinct to find that opportunity. If you don't have that killer instinct, you're going to miss chances that could have created shots, which is how you score goals. Players will start passing the ball and moving the ball, and they won't have that vision to just find that gap to dribble through or find that gap to pass through, which will lead to more chances on goal. You have to have that killer instinct. You have to know what the goal is, which is to score goals. So that leads to the next part, which is taking care of the ball. This is connected to build up because you need to keep possession. If you don't have the ball, you clearly can't score goals. But this is not to be confused with the first principle, which is having the vision to create chances and playing in the attack with efficiency, right? Because what we are talking about here is not trying to force passes or not trying to force a dribbling maneuver where you don't have a likelihood of beating defenders. For instance, you don't want to dribble through three different players. Pass the ball, try to spread out the defense, and then try to explode past the defenders once they are spread out and you have an actual gap. When you're making a pass, don't try to force a pass where you know it's most likely to get intercepted. Play another pass, move the defenders around, right, based on how you move the ball, and then when you have an open lane, make the pass. So you have to still have that killer instinct and that vision to drive for goal, know what you're going for, but you also have to be patient with the ball and take care of it. No dumb passes, no dumb dribbling. Be patient, move the ball around till you have that opening, and that's when you pounce. So to be clear, I'll give you two examples of the first two principles. The first one, having that killer instinct. How many times in the attack do players start passing and moving the ball and you look back and go, man, I had that chance. I don't know why I didn't try to dribble there. I don't know why I didn't make that pass. I could have made that. We could have got a shot there. And you regret it because you didn't have that killer instinct, right? You were almost playing too safe. But on the other hand, it's totally different from the second principle, which, for example, is when maybe you're down 1-0 or tied and you want to take the lead. So every time you get the ball in the attack, all you can think about is getting a shot off right away. You don't think about how to get that shot off. You just go straight towards the goal. Now you're dribbling at three defenders, losing the ball. You're passing when you shouldn't, and you're losing the ball. So constantly you just keep losing the ball and losing the ball and losing the ball because all you see is the goal. You don't see the obstacles in the way, which is the opponent's players, and so you keep losing the ball. Therefore, as you can see, the difference between the first principle, having that killer instinct to create and score goals, and the second principle, which is taking care of the ball, keeping possession, so you have the ability to create as many chances as you possibly can. Now, as we get into actually putting the ball in the net, I real quick want to touch base on set plays, both free kicks and corner kicks. But this time, I don't want to just talk about the two set plays that I go for, which is going back post, trying to draw the goalie out, acting like I'm putting the ball in an area where they can come get it. Then running further where I actually have the marker and heading it in, which you'll see examples of that just like in last video. I also want to talk about this right here, which is direct free kicks. Now this one you'll see I under hit, but typically speaking, you want to go 3 bars. Now I wish they would overhaul this system, but typically if you aim for that upper corner and go 3 bars, whether it's near or far post, depending, sometimes the opposing player will move the keeper and you can change the corner accordingly. But in that perfect upper 90, like you saw there, in 3 bars, and it's a vast majority of the time going to be a goal, especially when you have higher attribute free kick takers. Now the last thing is the corner kicks, which I wish they would also overhaul if they truly didn't fix the corner flick goal, which again, you'll see 1 or 2 examples of that in this video. And that is where you play the ball either near or far post, flick it on, and then hit it in 1 time. Now, it used to be the case where the opposing defense froze up and couldn't intercept these balls. I'm not sure if that's the case now. I know the goals from this happens a lot less frequently, but these are ways, especially in tight games, that you can get goals when you otherwise wouldn't. So make sure you practice your corners and free kicks. They will come in handy, and you're going to regret it if you get a big moment to tie the game, win the game, whatever, and you haven't worked on both corners and free kicks. So I just wanted to touch base on that again, like I did in the build-up video. Now, into regular shots. There are a few different types of shots you can take, right? Obviously, just powering up and using the shoot button. Then there's the finesse shot for PlayStation, R1 in circle. And then there is a chip shot, L1 in circle. But there's one more that's probably the least frequently used, which is the low driven shot, L1, R1, and shoot. And all of these are viable ways to score at different times. Now, when the ball is in the air, you also have the header and then the volley or bicycle kick, which trigger by just pressing the regular shoot button or pressing L2 and the shoot button respectively, right? Just regular shoot when the ball is in the air high enough for a header, and then L2 shoot when you have the ball in an area where you can either bicycle or volley. Now, the second of which, the bicycle kick or volley, was actually a glitch for a while, if you will, because you could score that when the goalies were broken. They would save just about everything. However, when you do a little short dink cross, which is typically the most popular method, and then did the bicycle kick, you would have almost an automatic goal. And now it still is a very good way to score if you can get it pulled off. I'm not seeing it as much lately. I'm not seeing players trying to abuse it as much, but that doesn't mean it's not still there. So if you get the ball near the end line, you're driving in and you don't want to play a ground pass because it keeps getting intercepted, which is many times the case, you can instead press square at a low power level or L1 square also at a low power level, which triggers a lob cross, and then finish with a bicycle kick or a volley by pressing L2 and shoot. Now, as you can see from my highlight videos, I don't utilize this much because I haven't needed to, but that does not mean it's not in my arsenal, and that's why I wanted to share it with you guys. Which leads me to principle number 3 for attacking. Know which type of shot to take in every situation. If you don't, this could lead to you missing opportunities that you otherwise wouldn't have or shouldn't have missed. You have to be aware of where you're at when you're shooting the ball and what the proper shot to take is. And you have to do this in a split-second decision because, of course, you're going to have not only the defenders, but maybe even the goalkeeper rushing out at you. You have to know your shots like the back of your hand. So speaking of shots, throughout the game, there's been different times when different shots are overpowered. For instance, there was a time when every finesse shot went in. There was a time when low-driven shots were extremely high percentage shots with regards to how many goals you would score from them. Now, you have to just make sure you have the right angle, much like the passes you make in the build-up or anywhere on the pitch. You have to make sure if you're driving in on goal, you have an angle towards the left or towards the right, and you can always go near post. But if you have that angle facing far post, as you see in many of my goals, you power it up enough, you will nail it into the corner. Or facing that same angle, left or right, you can always finesse it. And obviously, you just have to increase the power as you get further from the goal. But I will say, especially for driving in and taking that regular shot, typically towards the far post, sometimes towards the near post, especially if the opponent moves their goalie, the further out you are, the more likely the goalies will save it. So they aren't broken anymore, but they do tend to make saves, especially if you don't have that angle towards one corner of the other. The more straight on you are, the less likely it is for you to score on both regular shots and finesse shots. And the same with low driven shots. If you get that angle towards one corner or the other, you are set. If you're further out, you can do a low driven shot and you have a good chance of scoring. But just make sure you try to create that angle. And in a scenario where you can't create a good angle towards the left or right corner, and say you are more central, go towards the left or right and take a near post shot. So say you're on the left foot facing the left post, you go towards the left, take the shot. Right foot facing the right post, but you're more central. Don't shoot the ball in the middle. Take that touch or 2 touches or 3, whatever it is, towards that near post, and then take the shot. It is all about angles to beat the goalie in UFL at the moment. And that goes for every shot except for the chip shot, because with the chip shot you are going up and over the goalie, so the angle doesn't matter. However, you have to make sure you choose the right opportunity, which is when the goalkeeper is rushing out. Then you have to make sure you power it up accordingly. The further out from goal you are, the more you have to power it up. Don't make the mistake of having the goalie rush out, knowing you have an easy opportunity, and then underpowering it to where the defender can go and clear it, or maybe even the goalie recovers and gets it. Not to mention, there's times when dribbling around the goalie could be even more effective than a chip shot, and you have to recognize that. Because in UFL, when the goalie comes rushing out, they don't just take it off of your foot as easy as they do in other football games. If the goalie comes rushing out and you have the ability to get around them, do so. Simply sprint dribble to the left or to the right, and you will have an open net finish. So in summary, becoming an elite attacker in UFL comes down to following 3 principles. Number 1, have that killer instinct to create chances. Number 2, keep possession of the ball. Do not force bad passes or dribbles, which will cost you those chances that you've seen with that killer instinct. And number 3, finish the ball, which you do by knowing the proper shot to take and the proper angle to take it at. You've now saw the chance. You've now put yourself in that opportunity to take the shot, whether it was through passing, dribbling, or a combination. And the last thing you want to do is blow it because you didn't take the right angle or you chose the wrong shot. Now, all 3 of these principles are simple enough, but you must practice them. And over time, you will get better, and that will increase your level. Just like anything else that is skill-based. You put in the work, and you will reap the reward of more victories, of a higher rank, and of dominating game in and game out. So make sure you go over this and understand it. Make sure you have gone over and understood both the defense and the build-up videos as well. Put all 3 phases together, and you have a professional level UFL player sitting on top of the game. So get to work. As always, keep grinding, keep having fun. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Join the Discord, the link is in the bio. And if you like the channel and are interested in perks such as getting content early, check out our memberships, not to mention the top level membership, which includes and features 1v1 and group coaching to help you get to the top of this or any football game. We've been there. We've got top ranked players across the board, and that is what this channel is about: improving at the game, playing the beautiful game, and having fun while we do it. So with all that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.